The appearance of this pen is a minimalist design. Bauhaus style. The whole pen, we don't see anything extra. No fancy decorations or anything like that. So I think it's a very pure writing instrument. Every aspect serves to write. A lot of pens these days have a heavy tail. Because the piston of the tail, usually some metal material is used. The tail is heavier than the head. But it is different. Its metal head is a little heavy. It's just right to pick up and write. It's okay to be a little top heavy. So the balance of this pen is quite good. The workmanship of the whole pen is excellent. You see a seam here. There is a seam here. Piston knob, this seam. But let's touch it like this, hardly any rough feeling. This pen isn't that expensive, but the details really do work. The cap of the pen is inserted and drawn by this kind of buckle. There are 2 raised small buckles on this pen holder. Oh, and speaking of plugs, some worry about this longevity. Well, I took a closer look. I think it's got a pretty good lifespan. There's a metal one. This loop is used to hold the clasp. When we put the cap in, this button is stuck with this metal ring. This coil gonna last a lot longer than that plastic. And there are 4 claws in the cap. It can hold the pen stick tightly. So we plug it in tight. The cap moves very little. Similar plug and pull hats like Parker 51. Has steel claws but no clasp. So you don't have that clicking sound when you put the cap in. I have Lamy 200. It only has buckles. But there are no steel claws in it. So this cap is going to move a little bit more. It is highly recommended to add the steel claw back inside. Which one should I buy, steel or fiberglass? These 2 pens are the same size. It looks like this all steel type is a little more thick. Because it is white and looks fat, it's actually the same size. This place is 12.5 in diameter. The biggest difference between the 2 is that the material is different. So the weight is different. So let's just take a look. The difference in quantity. Let's weigh the pen first. The whole steel pen is 54 grams. The most important thing is the weight of the cap. After taking the cap, 34 grams. The whole fiberglass pen is 26 grams. Take the cap off and it's 17 grams. That makes it a lot lighter. The all-steel model is a little too heavy, but everyone's preferences are different. A lot of pen fans like it that heavy. You can measure it. The weight of the pen you like to use. Compare the weight of the 2 pens to make a decision. If you don't know which one to choose, don't know anything about pens, don't know much about your preferences, then I recommend you make a priority to buy a Pilot 74. If you really like the look of this pen, do not mind the nib of the fountain pen is big, or you can accept the thicker pen nib. Do not know what you self like. Then I recommend you consider this carbon fiber version first. Choose its C or F nib. I didn't go into a lot of detail, like how soft the nib is, because I think talking about this kind of thing, it doesn't really mean much. For the newbie, it doesn't really matter if it's soft, you know. The most important thing is to choose the right thickness. Then choose a look you like. The details you can learn it as you play, slowly gaining experience. Otherwise, people tell you soft or hard, the nib is. It's all about other people's feelings.